I don't know about you, but I am really glad that I met Jesus. Because we know that as we encounter the love of Jesus, it transforms everything. And I have my friend Savannah here this morning because we know that as we share our stories, there is power in what it looks like to know that we are not on this journey alone. And our stories have power. Savannah, will you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us how long you've been at New Life, what brought you here, and tell us a little bit about your story.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be up here, to even think where I was like 10 years ago in my life, and to be standing up here in front of you guys is just an absolute miracle. And so I'm really grateful to be here this morning. And I've been coming to New Life for a very short time, for only like a month and a half, but a lot has happened in a month and a half, and that's just how the power of God works in my life. But I started coming because my friends, very good friends of mine, Mike and Paula Thompson, they invited me to come here. Our lives are connected in the recovery world, and they lost their son in addiction. And the fact that they have the courage and the strength to walk in those doors and just still show up is deeply inspiring. And so I asked Paula, she said she was going to church, and I was like, what church do you go to? And she's like, I go to New Life. And I was like, you know what? My mom and I, like, we've been actually like wanting to get back into church, and so I was like, you know what? We'll come. We'll check it out. We're going to start the process of church hunting, and like see where we fit in and if we like it. And I walked in those doors, and I'll never forget it. The energy, the vibe, the people, the music, the songs, everything about it just hit my soul and hit my heart. And I was like, this is it. We are home. And I even remember after the message, Ryan gave the message that morning, and I went up to him after it, and I was like, I just want to thank you. And I've never done that. I've dabbled in churches before, and I've never went up to the pastor after a service. Like, that's not me at all. But I was like, I had to go and thank him. And I was like, thank you so much. That was amazing. Like, this is my new home, and I'm going to be here. It's like, so thank you. So what was the next question? I'm sorry. A little bit about my story. Yes. So I have 10 years of sobriety, and like I said in the beginning, to even be standing up here is just by the grace of God, and it's an absolute miracle, because 10 years ago I was living in darkness, living in pain, and living in a full-blown addiction of alcoholism, and I wanted to die. I literally hated the person that I had become. I lost my light, and I just wanted to die. I didn't want to live anymore, and I would purposely drink, hoping that I would not wake up. And I kept waking up, and I know that that's the power of God working in my life. And the last 2 years of my drinking, I spent in and out of detox treatment centers, and then I would get out, and it was just this vicious cycle, and I would just hurt everybody around me. I was destroying my life, and everybody that was around me, I was destroying their life as well. And I went to a special story that I want to share with you, because when I look back on my journey, God was always there. I didn't grow up in church. I didn't have a relationship with God, but he was always there. When I look back, he always put these people in my life just at the right moments to reach out their hand and pull me out of that darkness. And I was sitting at a church in Indiana with two pastors as they were trying to help me get into a treatment center. And I was broken, I was hurting, and he said, I want you to open up the Bible, and I want you to read this scripture. And I had never heard the scripture, I had never read it. And as I read it out loud, I started bawling, and it was Jeremiah 29:11, and it said, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, and plans to give you hope and future. And that is my prayer. That is just like ingrained in my soul. And this is the future that he's given me. And I have a life today that I never even thought possible. And I'm so deeply grateful for that.
Savannah, it's so good. And what I love so much about your story is that you've allowed Jesus to redeem your story by choosing to share it with so many people and by investing in the lives of so many others. And that led you to doing something crazy for Freedom February. So you jump into coming to New Life South Kitsap right about as Freedom February is starting. What did you decide to do, and why did you decide to do it?
Yeah, so it was crazy because, like I said, I thanked Ryan. Well, the next Sunday, so literally the second Sunday, he comes up to me. He's like, hey, you do fitness, right? And I was like, yeah, all about it. And he's like, we're doing this thing called Freedom February, high energy that he is. And he was like, you should do it. And I was like, all right, I'm in, not knowing like what it was about, And then I heard the message that day from the CEO of Atlas Free. And I was so deeply touched by it. And I had to jump in. I jumped in. I was so excited. I wasn't going to wait. I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just like kind of tiptoe and do something. And I was like, no, I'm in. I'm going to go all in with it. Because when I heard about the darkness that these little girls and the women were dealing in, dealing with, like, my pain is different and I was in darkness and they're in darkness, and if I can do something to help them come together. So fitness is what I do. So I was like, I'm going to do workouts. We're going to move for freedom and use our voice and come together and connect and unite and do all this amazing stuff. So I did that every Saturday at 9 a.m. We were in here. We came together and we raised $1,706. Man, it was a blast. It was awesome.
I really appreciate you being here and sharing that. There was something, though, that you wanted to share about what it means to be people becoming the church, and I'd love for all of us to get to hear that this morning.
What it means for people becoming the church for me, like I said, when I walk through those doors, whatever you're going through, whatever pain you're going through, whatever past struggle, present struggle, what connects me to New Life and what I think separates it as I'm like, just continue to come every Sunday is we get to come as we are. It doesn't matter what you've gone through. We get to come and we get to be free and we get to be who we are. We don't have to be a certain way. So whatever it is that you're going through, just know that we're all welcome here. I feel welcome and I feel at home. I've only been here a month and a half and I feel like I've been here years. I don't know what's going on, but it's pretty cool.
So grateful for you, Savannah. Yeah, give it up for Savannah.
Thank you.